Welcome to module number 1 and the very first presentation/lecture in this Self-Mastery 360 course, where you are going to be introduced to some of the absolutely amazing capabilities that you have, and that can only be accessed from knowing self, understanding self, and eventually applying self. You are the most amazing being on this planet. You were made in God's image. Now, that is already letting you know just how amazing you are. This means you have God-like abilities. And this course is going to show you how to access these abilities that you have and use them to become what you were created to be, which is the absolute best version of yourself. This Self-Mastery 360 course is a culmination of over 23 years of teaching advanced techniques in fitness, nutrition, mind-body exercise, mental and emotional empowerment, but most importantly, spirituality. And the spirituality I'm talking about is understanding your direct connection with God from within and without. This course isn't just about learning. It's about unlocking your incredible capabilities and then applying them to your daily life. This is what transforms you into the best version of yourself. Now, I've witnessed the remarkable impact of these teachings on my clients for years, and now I've condensed these methods into a comprehensive but still relatable 31-day self-mastery course that is specifically designed to streamline what would usually take months and months to learn into just a little over 4 weeks. Now, how did I do that? Well, because in all humility, let me say that in all humility, I have personally mastered each one of these methods and techniques that I'm going to show you. And this mastery has allowed me to put together a course that is effective and efficient in every one of these areas. Why? So you can become the highest version of you in the shortest time possible. You'll not only gain knowledge in this course, but also the understanding and skills needed to apply these techniques in real life. And this will empower you to shape your destiny, increase your quality of life, and create a desirable future for you and for your family. In this course, you will learn that you are an extraordinary, spiritual, and physical being, and that you have innate abilities that can heal you, empower you, enlighten you. You have abilities that can increase your intelligence, increase your decision-making ability, and increase your power of concentration. And what you need to know, and that you will soon find out, is that you have direct access to these methods, to these systems, and to this information that will help to improve your life exponentially. And every one of these abilities that you will learn in this Self-Mastery 360 course all have to do with what? Knowledge of self. This is why knowledge of self is the ultimate power. And this is why the first module in this course and the first presentation given is entitled Knowledge of Self. Now, before I actually get deeper into this presentation, I just want to briefly discuss some of these amazing knowledge of self components you will learn in this Self-Mastery 360 course. Now, I'm not going to go in depth into each one of these components. I'm just going to briefly touch on them so I can remind you about some of the amazing capabilities that you have and that you are going to learn how to do in this course. So first and foremost, I'm going to show you how to perform 9 different types of mind-body medicine that have a direct, positive, and powerful effect on your body, mind, and emotions. Also in this course, you will learn about natural laws that govern each one of us, like the law of cause and effect and the law of vibration. And you won't just learn of these natural laws, you will learn how to use them to your advantage and for your benefit instead of being used by them. Also in this course, you will learn the exact master formula which is needed to shape your destiny. And I'm going to show you how to apply it in your life step by step. In this course, you will also be provided with 2 specific natural nutrition programs that help you find the excesses and deficiencies in your diet before they lead to disease. And at the same time, these programs will ensure that you are getting the over 100 vitamins, minerals, and nutrients in your diet that your body needs, not just wants. Also in this course, you will learn one of the most powerful forms of self-medication, and that's how to activate your body's relaxation response. Your relaxation response is a natural response of your body's nervous system that you activate voluntarily. And this helps you conquer and overcome stress, anxiety, and worry in your life by stopping stress immediately and reversing its effects on your body. And I'm going to show you how to activate this natural relaxation response in 3 different ways. So by the end of this course, anywhere you are at any time, you'll know how to activate your relaxation response. Also in this course, you will learn how to put your body in a sleeping state while you are still awake. Now, this is a form of mind-body medicine called progressive muscle relaxation. And you're going to learn how to perform this mind-body exercise because it helps you expedite any physical healing that's happening in your body. And it helps you reduce overthinking, which is a problem for a lot of people. And it helps you conquer any sleep-related issues you are having. Also in this course, you will be provided with an expert personal fitness training regimen that I call Meditational Fitness, which teaches you how to meditate while you're doing fitness. This meditational fitness program is exceptional because it strengthens your power of concentration while you are performing fitness. Yes, it is possible to strengthen your mind at the same time you are strengthening your body. That's why it's called mind-body exercise. And performing meditational fitness can actually help you get 3 times the results 3 times faster. And there are very few fitness or wellness companies on the planet that can show you how to meditate while doing fitness. But in this Self Mastery 360 course, that is exactly what you're going to learn how to do, how to perform meditational fitness. And I'm going to show you at whatever level of fitness you are, and going to show you step by step how to advance yourself in this program. Also in this course, you will learn a very powerful emotional intelligence technique that helps you set your emotional frequency in the first 5 minutes of your day so you can win your entire day. Now, this is one of my most favorite techniques to show people because I've seen it change and transform so many of my clients' lives for the better. And one of the most important components related to knowledge of self that you will learn in this course is how to build a one-on-one relationship with God. How? By reconnecting with your God part, with your God self, which is actually the immortal part of your being that is directly connected with God. And I'm going to show you this by helping you understand the true message of the Bible, which is about a king, his kingdom, and his kids. And who are his kids? You and I. I'm going to show you in the Bible how God wants to have a direct relationship with you. And I'm going to show you the steps you need to take to make that relationship a reality. Now, mind you, this is just some of the groundbreaking methods, techniques, and modalities that I teach you throughout this Self-Mastery 360 course. And all of these abilities and the amazing processes you will learn come from having what? A knowledge of self, of knowing what you are composed of and how to use the natural innate abilities that you have within you in order to become the absolute best version of you. Once you really begin to learn about and understand all of these amazing abilities that you have, you will realize that your destiny, your health, your future, and your quality of life are all in your hands. Okay, so how are all these important factors of my life in my hands? Well, listen to this. Because all of these important factors, like your health, like your future, and like your quality of life, are all determined by the decisions you make with your body, mind, and emotions. Now, that leads us directly into the first part of the presentation about knowledge of self, which is learning more about the importance of your body, your mind, and your emotions, and how to use them to become the best version of you. So now let's talk about some universal laws that we cannot avoid. But first, let me reiterate that there is nothing more important than having what? A knowledge of self. Every human being should want to know and understand all components of their being. Why? So they can in turn know how to utilize themselves to their fullest potential. Our life is defined by how we decide to move, think, and feel with our body, mind, and emotions. And these daily decisions we make on how we move, think, and feel, and the effects that come from these decisions play a major role in determining what? our overall health and well-being. We've all heard these sayings that you can see on the slide in front of you. You are what you eat. You become what you think, and you act on how you feel. Now, these sayings are not just a fancy play on words. These sayings are actually universal laws that deal specifically with you and your ability to either shape your own destiny or become your own worst enemy. Every decision you make with your mind, body, and emotions has a consequence. What you decide to eat will have an effect on what? Your health. What you decide to think and feel will have an effect on your mind and emotions. Doing, thinking, and feeling are actions. They are causes. And each one of these actions, each one of these causes has an effect. So, for example, if you eat too much sugar, unfortunately, you can get diabetes. So eating too much sugar is the action, the cause, and the effect or the result of the action of eating too much sugar is possibly getting diabetes. That is the effect. That can be one of the consequences of eating too much sugar. Once again, natural law says that every action or decision we make will bring consequences. And each individual is solely responsible for the decisions they make with their body, with their mind, and with their emotions. No one decides what you eat. That's your decision. Nobody decides how you move, how you think, or how you feel. These decisions are yours alone, and the laws that govern these decisions, these actions, cannot be avoided. But they can be used to your benefit if you know yourself and understand the power that comes from utilizing the natural laws that govern your body, mind, and emotions instead of being used by them. You and only you are in control of these decisions that you make. It's a matter of self-control and self-responsibility. Over 90% of an individual's personal problems come from what? Poor decision making. And the root of poor decision making is what? A lack of self-knowledge, a lack of knowing self. So to more fully understand these sayings, which represent the natural laws that govern us, and to more fully understand the self-responsibility we have in the decision-making process, it would be much easier to understand these sayings if they were written like this. You are what you decide to eat. You become what you decide to think, and you act on how you decide to feel. As I stated earlier, the law of cause and effect teaches us that every action has an equal or opposite reaction, and eating, moving, speaking, thinking, and feeling are all actions. And before each one of these actions, there is what? A decision. Now, this is the most crucial part of knowledge of self to understand, that your decisions decide your destiny. As I said before, over 90% of all personal problems come from poor decision making. And the root of poor decision making is ignorance, or also known as a lack of self-knowledge, a lack of knowing self. So I'm going to say it again. Knowledge of self is important because our decisions decide our destiny. When you know better, you decide better. And when you decide better, you live better. And the more knowledge of self you attain in all aspects of your being, not just one, in all aspects of your being, it will help you become a better decision maker. Once you understand and learn that you have a higher aspect of your being, that you are a spiritual being, that there are different levels to you that you might not even understand or know. Once you gain more knowledge of self, it makes you a better decision maker. So, for example, if you begin to truly know and understand that you are a spiritual being first, that is actually experiencing life through your physical body, this powerful knowledge of self will help you make better decisions. Why? Because when you know yourself better, you will decide for yourself better. Also, if you know that you are directly connected with God, that you are a royal citizen, a king or a queen within God's kingdom, what will happen? You will begin to make better decisions. This knowledge of self, this higher level knowledge of self, will help you become a better decision maker. Another example, if you know that you are a member of God's household, that you are his son or his daughter, then what will happen? What will that make you become? A better decision maker. Also, if you know what natural law is, because a lot of people don't know that we have these natural laws that govern us. If you know what natural law is and that you have the ability to utilize it for your benefit and to your advantage, this type of powerful information will make you a better decision maker. But if you don't know these amazing things about yourself, and if you lack knowledge and understanding of these natural laws that govern us, what ends up happening is that you usually start to make harmful or uninformed decisions that become the precursors for pain, disease, or illness in your life. Each decision we make plays a part in shaping our destiny and determining our future health and happiness. This is exactly why knowledge of self and the universal laws that govern our life is of the utmost importance. If you know the law, you can use the law to your benefit instead of becoming a willing victim to it. So throughout this course, I have done my best to provide some of this knowledge and information in its simplest form. Why? So you can begin to strengthen yourself by knowing yourself. This is why knowledge of self, of all components of your being, is the ultimate power. And that's exactly why I designed this course to help you become the best you in every aspect of your being. As I said before, once you begin to study and understand the truths and laws that govern your body, mind, and emotions, there's no denying the power that you have over your own destiny, your own health, and your own happiness. Each one of us is an amazing being with tremendous potential and capabilities. Everything we need to manage our health, to shape our destiny, and attain an optimal level of well being is already within our grasp. So let's go a little more in depth about knowledge of self in reference to three very important parts of your being, which we've already been talking about: the physical, mental, and emotional parts of your being. Why? Because the more you understand these parts of your being, the more you can control them. Remember, you decide how you move, how you speak. You decide what you think, and you decide how you feel. Most people are only familiar with their physical being, what they see when they look in the mirror or what they experience with their physical body. But there is much more to you than just what you see when you look in the mirror. Do you move, speak, hear, touch, and see things? Yes, of course you do. And you do these things with what? Your physical body. And how does your physical body communicate? Well, it communicates by speaking with your mouth and utilizing your voice, which produces sound waves, and listening with your ears, which pick up the sound waves, right? And who controls these processes of what you say and how you move? You. Who controls how you use your physical body? You. You make the decisions on how you move and how you speak. But don't you also think things? Yeah. So this means you also have a mental body or a mental part of your being. Can you speak without opening up your mouth? Yes, of course you can. Well, who is speaking if you're not using your physical mouth? Your mind is speaking. The mental part of your being is speaking. Now, thinking is the language of your mind, like speaking is the language of your physical being. This shows you that you also have a mental part of your being. And what is the most important thing to understand? Who is in charge of the mental being? Your mental being? You. You decide how you think. Okay, so do you experience emotions like love, anger, sadness, or being happy? Of course you do. So this means you also have an emotional body or an emotional part of your being. Emotions are the language of your heart. That is why they are called emotions, because they are energy. That's what the E represents, and motion. And who is in charge of the emotional part of your being? Yes, absolutely. Once again, you. You act on how you decide to feel. Nobody makes these decisions for you. You decide what feelings you hold on to. You decide what emotions you hold on to. So obviously, there is more to you than what you see in the mirror. So why is all of this important? It's important because knowledge of self teaches you how to better understand and control these three parts of your being so you can create the future that you desire. Think about it. If you have no self control over your body, mind, and emotions, it becomes much more difficult to create the future that you desire for yourself. And of course, we didn't forget the most important part of our being, which is the spirit we receive from God. This spirit is what gives life to our body, our mind, and our emotions. The spirit of God is our true being. Like I just said, it's what animates and gives life to our body. And what do we have the ability to do with this spirit of God that gives us life? Well, we have the awesome ability to decide what we do with this life that's given. That is why our course motto is, you decide how you live your life, but you don't give yourself life. I'll say it again. You decide how you live your life, which means you decide how you act, right? You decide how you think, how you feel. That's what we just spoke of. You have control over these things. But one thing you don't do is give yourself life. What gives you life, what gives your physical body life, is the living spirit of God within you. And this same spirit in you that animates your physical body is connected with God like a sun ray is connected with the sun. There is no disconnection with God. And we will definitely discuss this topic in much more detail over the next 30 days of this self-mastery course. And I promise you that it will open your eyes to this most sacred part of what you are, which is the Spirit of God in you. And remember, this is all knowledge of self. Everything we are discussing has to do with knowledge of self. And as I said, we will go more in depth in each one of these subjects as you go throughout this course. That is why we're not going too in depth now. Why? Because this information has got to be given in steps, in degrees, so you can assimilate the information and build a proper foundation of knowledge of self. This type of self-knowledge is the type of knowledge that destroys ignorance, that makes you a better decision maker. Why? So you can take control of your life and become the absolute best version of yourself. That's the entire point. The entire point of life is to master self, self-mastery. I hope this information gave you a good overview of what's to come throughout this course. And once again, thank you for making the intelligent decision to become the best version of you in all aspects of your being. All right, folks, I'll see you in presentation number 2.